We're going to take a look at a couple of safeties. We've talked about one of them, Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. And you see 26 solo tackles, 7 pass deflections. Didn't test athletically, which is one of the things that hurt him. Perception was that he wouldn't test. Never got to prove one way or another. Strong production at a pretty high level program as well. It says he scrapes almost like a linebacker, which is a good thing in a Jim Schwartz style of defense. Then you look over at another safety, Tanner McAllister, also from Ohio State. You see 5'10", 191, 447, bunch press 22 reps. That's pretty good. The shuttle 418. That's decent. 6'9", 3 cone. Again, was a corner, moved to safety, so he's got pretty good ball skills. What do you think of McAllister? That's another guy that's just intriguing. They're bringing in a number of guys.
Yeah, Tanner McAllister he's really got a cool story coming from Oklahoma State. Actually, just before I hopped on here, we had the opportunity to interview Tanner McAllister. And I can tell you that coming from Oklahoma State, he was familiar with Jim Knowles' defense, and that's a big reason why he transferred for Ohio State for his 5th year to be able to continue with Jim Knowles. But he can play out of the nickel, and he can play safety. Jim Knowles is actually the one, he said, when he got to Oklahoma State, that they wanted to move him to safety because they believed that that's where he was going to be most effective, but also they wanted to have the ability to use him in the slot. And so you saw he played that role for Ohio State this past year. He had 20 solo tackles this past year, 3 interceptions. The stats don't really stand out to you. I just think he's a really solid football player. Now, Ohio State also, keep in mind, under Jim Knowles, and this is why Ronnie Hickman's stats went down too, not only learning a new defense, but Ohio State likes to rotate their safeties. You have Lathan Ransom, Josh Proctor, Tanner McAllister, and Ronnie Hickman. So they're rotating all these talented safeties in and out, and even Sonny Styles. So I think that's why Tanner McAllister really slid down some draft boards. He also wasn't invited to the combine, and I don't understand that personally. I really don't. I think he's another diamond in the rough that Andrew Berry has found here, and I think he has a good chance of trying to claim a roster spot because, like you said, Dave, he can play nickel and he can play safety. So he has that versatility, and we know the Browns really like players that can play more than one role on offense, defense, or special teams. So I really like Tanner McAllister coming out of Ohio State. Might sound a little biased because we're talking about a lot of Buckeyes here, but Ronnie Hickman, Tanner McAllister, these are guys that have a legit chance to make this roster. And I like that Andrew Berry is one of the GMs that spends more money on these undrafted free agents because you can find some guys that can make your roster and at worst case end up on your practice squad and still contribute for you this year.